All right, welcome to another live session at the Blunt Lab. I'm Al, joined by my brothers Marcus and Rick, and our very special guest, Kiera. How you doing, Kiki?
Kiki,
Good.
what up?
See,
Brothers.
look, we finally got somebody pretty with us this week.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
we do.
Oh, let's not forget my sisters too, though.
Well, yeah, but it's been a while since they've been on the show, and it's just been all you dudes, and it's just like, hey, nice.
It's been a sausage party. Welcome
Right.
to the show. Welcome to the show,
yo.
Princess. We appreciate you
yo.
coming on.
Yes, we do.
All right, so there's one video that you guys have been hearing how I feel about certain situations going on in the United States. I've actually found someone who echoes what I've been saying and feels the way I feel and would do what I would do in certain situations. Roll the first clip, please.
I got 8 brothers. Let one of them get hung. I would that person's whole family and wouldn't even think and wouldn't even blink twice. Kids, babies, dogs, grandmothers, old people, every single person from your family existence would be no longer here if one of my brothers was I wanted them. God forbid my brother get killed by a police officer. Everybody in that cop's family is gonna, every single one, including the cop, in his lawyer, in the judge that won't give the conviction. I'm getting them all, and I'm gonna get away with it and be on the run for the rest of my natural fucking life, enjoying the memory of those cowards begging me for their life while I put a in their mouth and emptied the and then on them. I have no remorse. They gave us no remorse. They gave us no peace. My women, rape my sisters, black women screaming to their lungs, ah, stop! White men laughing, having fun like it was some type of a game. 30 men on one woman, rape in front of their kids, in front of their husband. You think I give a fuck about somebody's opinion? I didn't forget. I make sure I remind myself that fuck these motherfuckers be doing. I don't give a fuck about God. Give a fuck about fuck all of them. This shit been going on in the ghetto for over 400 fucking years. You think I'm
right.
Say I'm a god? You think I feel sorry to give somebody watching this that look like me hope? You think I care if Felix is unfucking comfortable? I don't give a fuck about Felix, and they didn't give a fuck about us. That's why they in power, and they lie, and they still do it to this day. I'm not a victim, so I'm not gonna create a generation of victims. I'm gonna create a generation of black people that's with the shits. You ain't gonna just pull me over and think you gonna kill me.
Feel free to check that dude's videos out. I forget his name. I should have had that written down. But my man also outs the industry and lets you know what you've been hearing about P. Diddy. Just doesn't start and end with P. Diddy. It goes way further than that. Because he was a rapper too, trying to get in the game. And they wanted a piece of his booty and he wasn't willing to give it up. So he never stepped out. But as you can see, he echoes how I feel about what's going on in this fucking country with some of the shit that's been going on. Second clip, I didn't get much time to really dive into or look into this, so I want to know if you guys heard anything about what's about to be played next. And yeah, just let me know. Roll second clip.
Yeah, you guys just hear what the UN just did. I don't know why this isn't all over my For You page. The UN just basically took away America's sovereign immunity, okay? What that means is when there's another global shutdown or pandemic or health crisis going on, they can come in and make you do whatever they deem feasible for the particular situation. Meaning if it's shots that they want everybody to take, it's mandatory. You can't say, oh, I don't want to. Oh, I'm exempt. I'm excluded from this. You can't file for exemption with this right here. You know what I'm saying? They can go past that. You can see, you can get jail time and all types of shit going on with you if they choose to do that. If you don't want to comply and go along with whatever they got going on when a pandemic, health crisis, or whatever hits, that's scary. Imagine having someone sick in your house and people, military, armed forces, or whatever, just come busting through your door, take that person out and take all of y'all out and say that all y'all got to get shots because they said so, or else it's whatever they want to do with you. That's how crazy it's going to get now that they didn't took this away. And I don't understand how this wasn't national news on everybody's television screen. Because if it was, we would have been able to stand up and make a roar about it. You know what I'm saying? Make it more of an issue. But they damn near did this right under the rug. It was only a select few people that knew about it. And the people that knew about it didn't even have big enough pages to get the message across. This is wild, man. But like I said, I want to know if y'all knew about this. I want to know if y'all know about this. And I want to know how y'all feel about this. Because to me, this is alarming. and a bit scary, to be honest with you, when you think about the actual possibilities of what can actually go down, especially after seeing the pandemic. Ooh, it's gonna be wild out here. But I'm done. I want to hear from y'all. What are your thoughts and feelings? Did y'all know about this? Did you not know about this? How do you feel about it now that you do know about it? Let me know everything. Drop it in the comments.
So yeah, he
That's you?
essentially. That's what I was going to ask. Anybody hear any of this?
Yeah, this is kind of old news, actually.
Oh, is it really?
So if you kind of start digging into Nesara, Nesara, and a couple of the other things that kind of sort of come along with that context, it's been a minute. We were sold back a long time ago, but the way that it's masked, you don't really see it like that. So what he's touching on is actually something that's been knowledge for quite some time. I highly suggest everyone look up Nesara, Nesara.
Well,
Wait, so if something like COVID happens again and we don't get vaccinated, they can come in our house and force
Yeah.
vaccinate us?
yeah. How do you feel about that?
What can you do?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you guys ever seen Set It Off. There's a scene where Cleo lets her friends out to ride. She's like, I got this.
Over
Cleo
a vaccine,
died.
though, like that's
Hey, if you want to come in and give me a shot that I don't want, then you're forcing me. At that point, you're forcing me to react. I don't want your
Is
fuck.
that true?
That's if it is, it's gonna be
When did
trouble.
that take effect? Like, when did that go into effect? Like, when did this happen?
No, what they're listen, it's been in effect for a long time. It's just not being enforced. What happened with COVID was a test to see our reaction stance, to see who's going to go which way and what to expect. This has been in effect for quite some time now. It's all about seeing how we're going to react.
Come give me a shot that I don't want.
Correct. That's what it's all about to me. Whether it's going to help me or not. If you're forcing me to take it, there's some sort of something behind that. So I asked you, Kiki. I mean, like you haven't been on the show with us before, so I don't know where a lot of like your like understandings lie when it comes to things like this. Whether you agree with a vaccination or not, do you agree with people being forced to take it?
No, I feel like it's their body, it's their choice.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking right.
Anybody in here vaccinated?
Yeah. I took the vaccine twice. Then I dug a little deep into it and kind of regret taking the vaccine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I admitted they got me and they suckered me into it. You know what I mean? But because look, I had people in the medical industry sending me videos from where they were at with people dying of this. You know, I'm a diabetic. I have asthma. So I have all those underlying things to where, yeah, they kind of scared me, if you will, into getting the shot.
You didn't think that was fake? Like they have crisis actors and stuff like that?
At the time, no. At the time, no. Especially at the place where
With
I was.
all the movies we watched, though?
Yeah, I know.
I'm not
I
judging.
know.
I'm like trying to pick it
No.
up.
By all means. I don't take it as you judging. By all means. I know I made that mistake. I acknowledge it. And even when they ask me now, I'm like, nah, y'all ain't gonna get me again. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
But
And
you
my
know how
doctor-
you're the type of person though, Al, that's going to admit, hey, look, I feel like I might have got conned a little bit. But what you have to really understand is that the majority of society doesn't want to admit when they're wrong. They will not admit that. So they buy in hook, line, sinker and run with it.
Yeah, those are the people that'll never grow. You know, I like to grow. So, you know, if I'm going to look into something, I took the time to look into it. And I mean, you know, shit just wasn't making sense. You know, when you put certain pieces together, you know, I'll take it back to the DeMar Hamlin thing. There's just certain things just put right in your fucking face that just let you know what kind of game they were fucking playing.
It's like disclosures, though, at the same time, too. So think about it real quick. There was a long time that products were able to be sold where they didn't have like a disclaimer on the side of it, where it's like, oh, Surgeon General warning. Oh, this could affect your diabetes. You know, all of those things, right? So here's my thing about it. From Jump Street, they were very clear that, look, the vaccine may not work. Okay, it's going to make it a little less worse for you. Bullshit, motherfucker. Either it works or it don't. You know what I mean? So if it don't work, you can't force me to take it.
Because
Especially
when I was,
after you're like, you can't blame me if it goes wrong.
what was that, Boo?
They kind of did try to force it because you couldn't get a job or
Yeah.
like
People are losing their jobs and not taking the vaccine.
your job would bribe you with like $1,000 initiative to get it. I was like, there's definitely no reason not to get it.
All those reasons were adding up to me. You know what I mean? All those reasons were adding up to me. And
exactly.
The very first time I got COVID when I wasn't vaccinated, the only thing that happened was I lost my sense of smell and I lost my sense of taste. And I did have this fatigue factor that lasted and stuck around for a while. But it wasn't to where I was in the condition some of these other folks were in the videos that I was watching. And as far as crisis actors, like these were people I knew personally that were caring for people that were actually dying. So yeah, it scared me to get the vaccine. But again, I admit I made a mistake. You're not going to get me. You're not even going to give me a flu shot. Because I don't even know what kind of shot you're sticking in my arm. So,
right.
You know, unless that shit has cocaine minus the fucking fentanyl.
If they're not charging you for it, you don't need it.
And the third world countries, when these fucking religious people show up offering you shots, just say no, thank you. Okay, please, just learn your fucking lesson from what these vaccines. Like if they're offering you free vaccines, you third world country folks,
in a different country.
Yeah, they're not looking to help you. Those vaccines aren't going to make you better. They're probably either going to sterilize you or inject you with AIDS. That's basically their MO. Don't fuck with it.
Some sort of controlling agent, and it's not too much different than a lot of the things that have happened in our modern time to Africa. So if you look at a lot of the things that have happened in Africa, it's been used as a guinea pig because it's cut off from the rest of the world in a communicative type of way. Even now, like, you know, a lot of people talk shit about Elon, and he's not my favorite person in this world. But Starlink, you know, the fact that certain places like that can now get information such as, hey, be questionable of this. It's no different than when the Christians showed up in Africa back in like the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Like, you've gotta worship this God or you're gonna die. You know what I mean? Type of shit. And they didn't know any better. And I think this on the level is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, so let's just stay away from the madness.
Yeah.
Now, something that's been popping off in the media, I don't know if you got to check this out, Kiki, but kind of ties into the toxic masculinity thing. Because recently, you know, I told you guys my sister's boyfriend suffered a great loss when his daughter was murdered by her ex on her front doorstep. I had a couple of videos I wanted to show you guys, but TikTok took them down. Of another dude showing up where the young lady basically was at her baby daddy's house to go see her kid. Homeboy followed her, showed up to the front porch, saw her because she was there at the baby daddy's house and just shot her dead right there on the front porch. Rick's daughter was ambushed on her front porch as well. Like, she had dated this dude. I don't know too much detail about it, but I know they dated. They broke up. It had been a couple of months. They have a child. And I guess he couldn't handle the breakup. And did what he did. Another example of a toxic male, of course, P. Diddy. We've been talking about that. And Vince McMahon has been a thing. Now, have you guys checked into that documentary or docuseries, if you will?
Vince McMahon?
He is. Have you ever watched WWE? You like wrestling?
I'm familiar with it, but I don't keep up with it.
He is the guy who
search his name on it.
He's basically responsible for the WWE and all its success.
His father was the owner of what was known as WWF before.
Oh, him. Okay.
Yep. And when his father passed away, Vince was already pretty much a part of the creative side of it, and he inherited the company, and he kind of took it more to the extremism that we've known since the late 80s.
So now a comparison I heard because I listened to the Monsters Real Radio 104.1 in Florida. Those guys were tossing this conversation around, and they were one of them was kind of making a comparison between P. Diddy and Vince McMahon, and like who's worse. Now, if you're gonna ask me, I will say Diddy, because granted, what Vince did, what Vince has done is terrible.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. I mean, this dude literally shit on a chick and had other dudes. Granted, I don't know why a dude would want to fuck a chick if she's covered in shit. That's just disgusting.
I've never gotten the whole poop thing involved in sex. It's never made any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, the poop and vomit thing, like.
Yeah.
Without going down that line, though, real quick, though, before you move on, Al, let's be real. What's been happening is first you saw Weinstein go down. Then you saw Epstein go down. Then you started seeing like Wexler and a couple other guys' names come up. Hugh Hefner dies. Now you see Diddy going down. What you're seeing right now is sort of a cleansing of the middlemen, the ones that they use to bring in our inspirers. And I think this is just another step, at the end of the day. Vince is another one, like you just mentioned. If you put Vince, P. Diddy, and let's say Donald Trump and Epstein in a room together with a blind woman, and she started having a conversation with him, she's talking to the same four motherfuckers.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're saying Clyde Davis is like.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that
handler.
up.
Clive is Diddy's handler.
He's Diddy. Not only is he Diddy's handler, but he's responsible for Whitney Houston's death. I forget the other chick's death that he's responsible for. If Clyde Davis didn't get what he wanted, basically what you see Diddy being accused of, Clyde Davis has been doing and has been getting away with it forever.
And it's the exact same thing Epstein was doing with the rich banker crowd. It's just a clientele difference. That's literally the difference. They record high-powered people in compromising situations so they can use it to control them.
And all this stuff coming out, it's their way for us to focus on the celebrities that they're pointing out, so we're not focusing on the politicians that are deeply involved in this. And when I'm saying deeply involved, I mean when it comes to Vince McMahon, P. Diddy, these motherfuckers are involved and it's with pedophilia, child trafficking, sex trafficking, you name it, everything in the book. I sent drugs, you and Marcus
gang activity, the stuff that we would look at as like black on black crime and certain events when we're like, it doesn't really kind of add up to put certain accentuation on situations.
I sent you and Marcus a video, one of the victims that survived. In her face and in her eyes, you can see her reliving the horror of what
with the red hair.
Does she have red hair? It's a black girl. Is it the black girl?
Is she in a car or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that video been going around. They're saying that they use the tapes too as blackmail for the celebrities in the campaign, like Megan Thee Stallion to go for Kamala and all that.
They're all involved, and they have tape on all of them. Now with the Vince McMahon thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, because Trump was heavily, when I watched that, I will say this, it reminded me of a time where wrestling was entertaining.
Yeah, it's nostalgic, man.
Wrestling was great. Even with some of, like, the worst acting back in those days came from the McMahon family and maybe some of the other wrestlers. But, like, your prime guys were always giving you gold. And I felt real happy watching that. And I'm like, when I see what wrestling has become today.
It's better. It's even better.
The fuck out of
it's
here.
fucking better. That's all I got to say. But I mean, with McMahon, like, I don't know, man. That documentary didn't really expose anything that I don't feel like was.
Yeah, it didn't expose anything we didn't already know about this dude.
Like,
you know what I mean?
He's a scumbag. He's a successful businessman. Of course, he's cutthroat. But
They're
like
writing the
all
storyline.
yeah, like all that other stuff, like that's come out since. Yeah, I was expecting some of that stuff.
Like they were trying to paint him as an asshole. Now, as a businessman,
Yeah,
and what you're doing in business, you have being a nice guy is not really going to work out for you too well.
yeah, moral codes don't matter in business.
Brother, Vince McMahon is Donald Trump's fictional mirror image. Like the character that Vince McMahon wrote to be him when it came to the storyline, he mirrored and mimicked Donald Trump to a T. They were boys. You know what I mean? Like,
and Pippen, do you see how Donald Trump has applied WWE tactics to politics?
Yeah.
Dropping his promos.
And that's where my one piece of respect for Donald comes from. Because like him or not, Manchurian candidate or not, he has opened his scenario and situation has opened so many eyes to the bullshit. Like the way that we didn't think wrestling was fake let me rephrase. They didn't pitch us that wrestling was fake. Now they play on that. And politics is getting to that point. The NFL is getting to that point. You know what I mean? All of the politics, even like we're getting to a point where we know politicians are just puppets to interest.
Now, scripted, not fake. Scripted,
right? Scripted.
The NFL.
Yeah. Like
it's entertainment, right? It's entertaining people. That's
what
really
the wrestling today.
No, I'm talking about just sports in general, like
all
politics.
It's meant to distract.
Yeah,
it's meant to distract from reality. It's meant to distract from reality, but like the way he treated some of these women, some of the things that he wrote into these storylines.
That Janelle Grant shit with the text messages, that was insane. Bro. That was crazy. Like I was watching that thinking like this dude he's really on a different level of thinking, man. Like to think you can speak to people that way. Like, and this ain't the first time he's done it. He's had so many lawsuits settled. Like,
so Kiki, this dude, Vince McMahon, his daughter works in the business with him. Mm-hmm. He pitched a storyline to where she would be pregnant and it would be by him. Mm-hmm. That's how I look too. She turned that storyline like she did a ton of crazy stuff in wrestling. Like I wouldn't send my daughter out to do. But that particular storyline, she had to shut that down. And he pitched it. This is his fucking daughter.
Said it's good for business, man.
Good for business.
Yeah. Who's business?
For real.
But, the wrestling business.
She was playing along with a lot of those storylines too. Mm-hmm. Like specifically, I think a lot of the time, the Triple H thing, but more importantly, there's a big one. They touch on it a little bit in the documentary, but this is more out there in the mainstream stuff of it. He had her flown to meet wrestlers he was trying to coax into contracts to fuck them. I mean, I'm not going to pull no punches on this. Like, do you send your own daughter?
Pimp his daughter out is crazy.
He pimped his own daughter out. And then they not only did he do all of that, which most likely it's real and it's coming out that it is, they used that story as a fictional story to sell the business. Mm-hmm. Like that's
so he made her relive that in front of the whole world.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Correct. And there's plenty of video out there on live TV where she talks about it and plays it out on TV. And yes, Daddy, I went and did it because you wanted me to, and all of that stuff.
Getting a little too real.
Mm-hmm. You see the way he was. Well, you see the way he would talk to chicks and like the stories that he would have, and the way he just speaks to women. Like, I mean, I'm not shocked that he would do that to his daughter. He don't give a shit.
So do you think do you think he abused and groomed her growing up?
I would have to say yes.
Yeah.
I would have to say yes. Because I'm telling you right now, Kiki, if it was me running the WWE and you were working alongside me, there's no way in hell I would have you do any of the shit that she did on TV without somebody getting fucked up. I wouldn't even pitch the fucking idea. Like when she gets her clothes torn off of her in the middle of the ring. You know, just to give you an example. Like, there's no way that I pitched that idea for my fucking daughter.
And that's how you know that he did that shit. Because if he didn't be cool with that or wasn't cool with that, the writer that came to him with that idea would have got fucked up and fired.
Now, you see how... Now, there is one thing, like when you see them asking questions, you know, like The Undertaker, who's the other guy, The Rock, some of these other guys, they're like, oh, you know, he's like a father figure. Like Vince can be certain things to different people. What he did to those women makes him a monster. Now, you know, we know for a fact that P. Diddy has murdered people and had people murdered, allegedly, so I don't get fucking sued.
So has Vince.
Vince has covered up murders because Jimmy Superfly Snuka murdered his wife. She didn't accidentally fall down the stairs. You know, these niggas are roided up. He had a history of domestic violence. I guess she burnt the toast and he smacked the bitch down the stairs and she died.
That's all it took was some burnt toast.
You know, I mean, you know,
Chris Benoit, Brian Pullman, like I could Lex Luger and Miss Elizabeth, like we could keep going all day. This is not a random occurrence.
And when they tested, these are all wrestlers. These are all wrestlers. They're
all wrestlers with very, very funny looking death situations around them, hanging around them. Yeah.
Would he do this? Would he do the things to the girls for them to get into the show?
Yes.
Oh yeah, a lot of girls had to do a lot just to get jobs in there.
100%. That's what his. Yes, that's what his lawsuits are all about. So effectively, there's these women in wrestling that are all coming forward now saying like, he flew me over here to sleep with this person. He made me sleep with him, etc., all the way down the line.
Did they have NDAs? Like, why are they just now saying something?
Correct.
So okay.
Yep. There's a few that have been sued for coming out about it all, and then there's a few that have been paid off. It's literally the same scenario. Like everything that you could hear in the news about like Donald and paying off people, it's the same thing with Vince, man. It's the same stuff. Yeah, pays them off, silences promotes them.
For anyone interested in that, I don't know if we should call it a docuseries, but it is on Netflix. It's 6 episodes, about 52 minutes apiece. I mean, there's only one guy on that show that paints Vince McMahon in a good light. And that was, I forget what that dude's name, the right-hand man whose wife had cancer and Vince helped him out.
Oh, Bruce Pritchard. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that guy. I mean, none of the wrestlers, you know, like those other guys say, you know, Vince helped them in the business.
Yeah, like personally. Like, they don't like condone his actions and shit.
With every scumbag thing that we've said about Vince and that you'll find out about Vince when you look at these charges, I will say this. The motherfucker's a creative motherfucker, man. And if he's going to go down for anything, he should, you know, if he's going to be remembered for anything outside of being a fucking disgusting rapist, like one of the greatest promoters of all time.
He is. He made a bunch of stars, man. Like,
he made a bunch of stars. He made wrestling relevant. To be losing to the WCW for what, 84 weeks in a row? Was it 84 weeks?
83, 84, one of them. Yeah.
Allegedly.
And then to take it back and then buy that company, I mean.
Yeah.
He had a timing thing. Ted Turner was done with wrestling. Again, it goes back to like you can call it coincidence. You could call it in the bed with the devil, part of the devil. Vince McMahon, the WWE sports entertainment is all in bed with the devil, and they get the benefit of luck and coincidence.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned the devil because this would be a very great segue into the very next show that we are going to discuss and toss around for a little bit, entitled Hellbound on Netflix, one of my favorite streaming platforms. So I'm assuming all of you have watched it, so I'm going to start with you, Kiki. Did you like the show?
Yes, the last episode.
Ooh, you're just gonna jump right into that one, huh? You're just gonna jump right into the last episode. Okay, we can do that.
Because
We
it's
can
like,
do.
what are we doing? Like, why, you can't leave it right there. What does that mean? Like, I don't know. Can I say? Because for people
Yeah,
who are
absolutely.
watching,
If
We don't care
people-
about
spoil
spoilers
it.
around here.
We don't care about
Okay.
spoilers around here. We don't care about
So
spoilers.
she comes back to life.
She's the Messiah.
She's
Was
She's
she
got to be.
dead in the first place, though?
Was
or
she?
like, is everybody gonna start coming back?
It depends. Were they sinful? So if you guys are wondering, like, what the fuck are they talking about? So the premise of this show is you receive a decree, I guess, from an angel. I don't know. So they tell you you either have 3 days to live or whatever.
They give you a
And
time limit.
they give you a time limit.
We might have 20 years. We might have.
Yeah, like the one guy.
Yeah,
And then on that day, on your last day, demons come up from hell. I like the effects of the demons. You know,
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they're actually cool. Yeah, they were cool.
For a show like this, the effects with the demons was pretty good. The demons come up, and you see when they come get you, like, dude, what the fuck did you do to deserve that kind of shit when they come
They
get
can
you?
just pull you. They can just pull you down with them. They don't have
You know,
to, like,
hey,
destroy
look,
you on the way down.
I like
If
how
you-
they show that though.
I do
They
too.
show it every
I-
time. I thought at
Every-
first like they were just gonna like show the audience and the reaction, but no, they kept it on. And I didn't want the baby to get got, but I'm like kind of wanted to see like, are they gonna take it there? Are they gonna do the baby that bad?
We're gonna have to get Kiki on for more reviews. Period.
Look, I figured the baby needed to get got for some kind of point to be made. You know, you can't just say you're gonna do something and then not do it. But then the sacrifice, there was a sacrifice for the baby.
Oh, it was a so maybe that's why they start coming back.
Mm-hmm. And you know, who's to say that she sinned?
But what did the baby do though?
They weren't right.
That was my What did the baby do?
Because if they would have let the baby get got, that would have destroyed that whole movement and whatever that church is that they were. Like that would kill their whole message because like that baby
cult
could not have sinned. Like what could that baby have done in its like 2 weeks of life to have sinned?
Just born and to be given 3 days. Like, damn, dog, you can't let me have the baby for 6 months.
That's just wild, bro. Maybe that baby's the Messiah. Maybe that baby couldn't get got. And like the parent, I mean, the sacrifice was cool. Like Kiki said, that could be what's bringing people back. I don't know. I mean, the way it ended is kind of crazy. It makes you excited about what's going to come from it. But,
so let me pose this question to all of you. If you were given a decree, such as, you know, you have a week to live.
Damn.
So I'll start with Kiki. What are you doing in that week?
I'm gonna put my vacation in for work so I can get that money, and then I'm gonna try to get to as much family and say my goodbyes. And then I'm just gonna make sure, you know, I'm already saved, but I'm just gonna reiterate that to God and like
Amen.
There's nothing you can do. I mean,
ain't no fighting it.
Yeah.
Like you can prepare for it or nothing. Like once you get
just a lot of crying and praying.
Yeah.
What are you doing in 7 days, Marcus?
I think I'm doing the same thing, man. Saying goodbyes and praying and shit. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like a week doesn't feel like it. That's not enough time to like, oh, I want to like check off my bucket list. Like, you're not getting shit done in a week. So you know, just do what you can and call it. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. That shit is crazy. It makes you.
What about you, Rick? What you doing in a week?
You know, I want to set up. I want to set up the ability to go on if things don't end. I'm that guy. So I might like say, okay, look, I want to experience this before I go, but I'm probably going to be more focused on setting up, let's call it a legacy, making sure that what happens after I go is down the path of what I want to see for those I love. If that makes sense. That's the path that I go down. Or taking out a couple motherfuckers too. Like, like you know what I mean? Like if you the reason that I gotta go, I'm gonna make sure you going with me. You know what I mean?
I mean, as we all know, I can be a little petty.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you're going to accuse me of being a sinner and you're coming for me in a week, well, I'm just going to sin.
But who's sending them though? Like that's what I'm saying. You can't look at it
Yeah.
from like the aspect like somebody's doing this to you. Like if this shit is just happening, like that's that.
And they never explain. The one thing I that really gets me is that they never explain what these people have done, because they never give you the angels' perspective. You get the demons' perspective. You know what they're there for. But the angels only delivering a message. But like, why?
But like, bro, you might as well just go peacefully too. Because if you fight or if you like run, it's gonna get really bad. Like it's gonna get really bad.
Oh no, I don't intend
dog shit out of you.
I don't intend on running. I know my fate. I know they're gonna come for me. I've seen what happened to the others, so I'm gonna choose violence as well.
It'd be sucking.
There's gonna be a lot of people. Look, I might go in there and rob a bank violently. I might choose violence with certain groups of people. But before I do that, I will call my loved ones, try to FaceTime folks, be like, hey, look, I love all of you. You guys are about to see some shit on the news. Hey, just watch me work. Watch me work.
You're gonna go do some wild shit.
Oh, you goddamn right. I'm killing a whole lot of people.
What if you don't get killed until it's your time?
He'll come back and they'll kill him.
That was going to be my next question to y'all. Now you have 7 days. So with what you guys said, are you going to wait the full 7 days, or are you going to try to off yourself? I'm too vain to off myself.
You can't because they bring you back just to kill you. Remember?
Sons. Oh.
With the ghost.
Yeah.
Slaughter the ghost.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I almost forgot about. Yeah, you see, you can't even kill yourself. I'm choosing violence. A lot of people gonna die before I die.
No, I'm gonna try to delay it. I'm gonna try to fight it. Yeah, for sure.
I can't fight the demons, but I can fight humans.
Might be able to reason with the demons. We only seen people either fight back or run. Like maybe you can say, hey, fellas.
Those demons ain't trying to talk to nobody. You see the way they come out? They're already charging Juggernaut style. They ain't talking to nobody.
Nah, they be charging because these cats is wilding, bro. They're running or they're trying to like do some funny shit. Like if you walk up peacefully, be like, hey man,
let's talk about this.
Yeah.
You know what's going
I don't know. I mean, you're probably still gonna get snatched the fuck up, but like it's worth it though. It's worth a shot. Like, shit.
What movie?
I thought it was gonna work when they were in the production with that one guy and he was like, I refuse. I thought it was gonna work for some reason. Like something different was gonna happen, but no, they slaughtered him right there still.
Exactly.
There's got to be a shock factor these days. Like you can't give like a happily ever after ending or an exactly like, oh, that was obvious ending. It has to be a shock value.
So do you guys think the baby should have died?
I think it would have made them.
You monsters. You guys are monsters.
I'm not saying I wanted to see the baby die, and I think she's coming from the same place of like, own me. You know?
They bent the rules because how did they all should have been fried.
Right.
Because and if so, when those things came back for the guy 5 minutes later, they didn't see the baby was still there.
They should have sensed that the baby was alive. They're there for the baby.
But the sacrifice has to have some kind of significance, though. Like they have to explain why. Like they didn't. Like, are they just getting souls? They don't care what soul it is, or is it like that sacrifice spared that baby?
Which is why, like, why are you letting the lady come back?
Right.
What
maybe
was
they
done?
Got too many. They got the two. They got the folks. So maybe they're like, we got to send one back now. You know, we're over our quota. I don't know. Shit's crazy, bro. I mean, isn't it coming back?
People weren't even sinning for real. It was like petty stuff, like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how'd you guys feel about that blogger, that podcast dude with the makeup?
Well, when I seen it, he was like, when he's like, I used to blah blah blah, I have some gear. I was like, no way. But I liked his part. I liked him for some reason. He was entertaining.
He was hilarious.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to look like that. At first, I thought he was the guy from the first cup, the cop from the first couple episodes, but like tweaked out or something. What happened to him?
Did he die?
No.
He just kind of went away after like the third episode, I feel.
Nope. He just never came back after.
I will probably see him again.
No, I have a strong feeling they're going to bring him back season 2. For sure.
Yeah,
we'll probably see him again.
Because they didn't finish the story. No closure.
Right.
Except for bringing that girl back.
Right, I was going to say, I didn't realize that was her with the short hair and the thing. And now it clicked like probably 30 minutes after she came on the episode. I was like, oh, that's her. They did her mom dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all kids.
Can you imagine her kids having to know that she's going to die? But then how are the kids, how those kids going to feel when she comes back? Like, what do you tell those kids?
She's going to have a story to tell.
Hopefully it's better than Scorpions in Mortal Kombat.
Which one? The new movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they always fuck it up, man. With Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they always get them messed up. I mean, that new Mortal Kombat was good though, like the movie itself. I did enjoy it, but they always get Scorpion's backstory wrong though.
But we'll certainly see if she has a story to tell about how and where they take this.
She's got to, man. Like, what did she experience? Or maybe she doesn't have any memory of it. Or the last thing she remembers is the last thing that happened before she went.
That could be the route they go with it as well.
Is it coming back this year?
From what I'm seeing, if it doesn't come back at the end of this year, it will be 2025.
Yeah, because on Netflix it says season 2 coming 2024.
Mm-hmm. And the reason a lot of these are being delayed is because of that stupid fucking strike. So certain things were kind of off as far as timeline. Because I don't know how many of us have watched The Last of Us on Max.
Most of it, yeah.
Season 2 is coming. Season 2 is coming 2025.
Yes, sir. I
don't know why I got to wait till 2025.
I'm about to say, need that now.
Now, before I jump off ship of the Hellbound, when we rate shows here, Kiki, we usually rate them from 1 to 5 blunts. So best out of 1 out of 5. So out of 5 blunts, how many blunts would you give Hellbound?
I would say 5. I was pretty locked in the whole show. And I thought it was original. Like, had me thinking for real. I'm still confused. Because I'm like, is this thing even God? Is it even an angel?
Exactly. Because they never go into that. We know where the demons are coming from, but they never go into the angels.
Who's picking these people?
Is it like chosen? Is it advanced as like the government and time travel? Because you know how they like go into that little thing? Because it just looks like a person with a sheet over its face when it's talking to you. Like their face is like, you know what I mean? And then when they leave, they just disappear into like, looks like a portal or something.
That's a good point.
And the crime, it's random.
Yeah.
You know what? That is good. I didn't think about it that way.
You better get some answers season 2, though. I know that much.
You damn Skippy. You damn Skippy. What do you give it, Rick?
I give it 3 blunts. Here's why. Mostly for what could come of this if it lasts for 5 to 8 seasons.
Oh, I doubt that. I give it 3.
That's what I mean. Like I'm right at about a 3 right now. And maybe part of that is because I see the potential. That's the words that I'm getting at. Like if I was just judging it on the first season, it'd probably be a little bit lower. But I see the potential. So I would go a little higher because of that.
Marcus?
I think I would go. They got to be. I'm trying to think of my other rates on other things. Like, it's not my favorite of these kind of shows, like these apocalyptic shows, but it's good. I say like a 3.5. I would go 4, but I feel like maybe 4 at the end of it. I'll say that rating's fluid. It could go up. I did like the start, the premise. I like where it's going. Like Kiki said, I'm confused by it. I'm got a lot of questions, and I mean that's a good thing. That keeps you entertained because you want to know what's gonna happen, and you're engaged. So yeah, I'd say 3.5 with potential to go up.
3.5 is not bad. 3.5 is not bad. I give
No,
it
and
about
it's
3.
not bad. I
No.
wouldn't give anything bad about it yet, but it hasn't had its fireworks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it gets about 3.5. You know, unlike Sweet Home, they weren't all over the place with the script. And some of these scenes, they stayed on par with a lot of things. So it gets about 3.5 for me. I'm waiting on season 2.
Every episode had excitement, blood, violence,
death.
Like that kept my attention for real.
I loved it. I loved it. It certainly gets 3.5. Now we had brought up The Last of Us. Now go ahead. You say something
before you continue. I know, like I got the rap on here about my dislike for these Korean shows. I will say this is one of the better ones that you suggested, as opposed to other ones. Not to shit on anything. Just, sometimes it's not me be asking. I'll be like, "Why are you doing this to me, bro?" Like, I thought
straight facts, straight fucking facts.
This is crazy. Oh, it's like
first off,
like I gotta share the suffering. Like that's not how that works, bro.
First off, there's no need to be disrespectful about those other shows because
this was deeper than what you normally bring onto the plate. I'm gonna say it like that.
Yeah, which is why I wanted you guys to check it out because again, I told you guys there are better Korean shows because I will say this for those of us that love Shogun, if you like Shogun and you like zombies, Kingdom is a Korean version. It's they do the zombie thing and then they kind of.
Why did you bring up Shogun though? Why did you bring up Shogun?
Because how Shogun gives you the Japanese history and how they did things and their ways. And
okay, so you mean from a traditional like
yeah
value?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they kind of go.
Kingdom set in that time period.
It's in old times, if you will, just like Shogun. And then they kind of show you the history, the way that people do things, but then they incorporate the zombie part in it, and it's pretty damn good, man. It's pretty damn good.
What's that?
Which one is that?
It's called Kingdom. There's 2 seasons. It's pretty, and I believe they made a movie off it too.
I forget what that's. Is it
of course, Netflix, baby, Netflix.
Oh,
Netflix. Yeah, Netflix needs to pay me for promoting their fucking streaming platform.
Nice.
Have you seen the one with the kids in the school and their zombies? That one's a good one.
Daybreak?
I'm not sure. It's a series.
Yeah, I think it's on my list.
Stuck in the school.
Now, what you should check out, Kiki, is another show that we reviewed. It's called All of Us Are Dead. That's another good Korean show.
Do I know that? That sounds so familiar.
Yeah, that's high school based.
That's what she was talking about.
I think that's what I was talking about.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I think that's exactly what you said was exactly what I just described.
All of Us Are Dead is awesome. And season
that
2
one is like a 4.5. That's pretty dope. I like that one.
Oh yeah, it's like it's a modern. What was those 90s? Those 2 90s ones in the beginning of from the 90s movies, The Faculty and the one with the Dawson Creek Joey chick. What's that one? Disturbing Behavior.
Yeah,
it's kind of like right in there with those, maybe, or it would be a good. Not that the story is the same, but a comparison would be.
And I like how it was a teacher who started the virus.
Always,
you get an explanation as to where it comes from, and then because like The Walking Dead still hasn't told us shit, so whatever.
Right, we don't. But yeah, I'm with you.
So the concept of The Last of Us, I don't know if we covered this, but apparently that fungus, I forget what it's called, a cordyceps, or apparently they found a spider with that particular infection, but just in the spider, in real life.
In real life?
In real life. So we all know that's how that shit starts. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just saying we see how that shit worked out in the video game and on the show. If it's already in a spider,
those zombies move kind of fluid too, man.
Too fluid.
Yeah,
Way too fluid.
They're almost like superpowered. Not like World War Z superpowered, but they're like definitely like peak athleticism as opposed to.
I can take you back. I think it's the second episode where Homegirl sacrifices herself, and the zombie runs in and then sees her standing there and like literally walks up to her and romantically kisses the fungus right into her mouth.
I remember that.
Yeah, she let him do it too. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Ain't no way now.
That was crazy.
Ain't no way now. But yeah, they found that infection in the spider. So there you go. There you have it. It has begun. So between that and God knows what the fuck else.
That's it.
Hey, okay, we are in big trouble because what's my man's name? Joe? Frank? Gilbert?
Joel.
Hey, I don't know where I got those other names, but whatever. Well, he's gonna die in season 2 because I hear he doesn't make it in the game.
If they stick by the game, yeah, he's up out of here early in the second season, probably like episode 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, before we we don't. They don't. Hopefully, they keep him in for a few more episodes than just 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're watching, please like, subscribe, share, comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We definitely appreciate that. Recently a storm hit certain states in the United States and hit them severely. So our thoughts go out to those that are stranded, and our prayers go out to those that have been lost. Man, I'm seeing clips of like highways that my wife and I drove on between North Carolina and Tennessee, man, just not there.
Not there, Al. Shout out, same thing. Matt, he comes on the show with us quite often. He and his family, my grandbaby, his wife, they live there. My sister and brother-in-law, niece, nephews, friends, so on and so forth. I lived there for about 6 years. Let me put it to you in plain context. There's 2 large rivers that flow through the city of Asheville. They started recording data in terms of like height and how much water is in there since like 1885 or so, 1887, something like that. Don't quote me, but somewhere in the late 1800s, they started recording that data. This is the highest it's ever been. The Lake Lure Dam, which, if you've ever seen the movie Stand By Me, the movies Dirty Dancing, most of y'all know, or also Lord of the Mohicans. Yeah. They were both recorded in a location known as Lake Lure, which is a giant lake up in a mountain. So if you think about it, like we're down here in Florida, New York, it's like here. Up in the mountains are way up here. And they got lakes up there. They have rivers up there. They have a dam up there that pretty much protects the entire valley leading down to Asheville. We're talking about 40-ish miles stretch through the mountains. We lost family members who have passed away. We have family members in the hospital currently. We had Matt, who you guys see on the show quite often, his wife, my grandbaby, my nephew, trapped in a house for the last few days. They basically have a generator and Starlink. It's a pretty messed up situation what's occurred there. They were not ready for the water. So anything you can do to give love, spread information. They are starting to get cell service back. Just in the last 4 or 5 hours, a lot of those areas, they are starting to get cell service and internet service back. Do anything you can to help them out. When I tell you there are several towns and little cities that you may take for granted if you live in a big one, they're completely wiped out. They're either all the way underwater or the buildings are gone. Mm-hmm. Gone. And to wrap it all up in a beautiful contention, at the end of this week, we have another storm that's brewing in the Gulf that's pretty much going to take the same path. So, send your love, because it's going to be hard for them for quite a long time.
Is Matt going to be able to get out of there before that storm hits?
They did. They left a few hours ago, and they actually made it back down the mountain to Greenville. They anticipate power back at their place here shortly, but they went to Micaiah's mom's house where they've got power. They're in Anderson, which is out there kind of by Clemson, if you're familiar with the college Clemson. They're down there a ways out of kind of where the storm surges has been, and they've got their power back. So Matt and them are going to be safe. They made it home just within the last 2 hours, but that's not the case for a lot of others.
Yeah, I got family I need to check on in Georgia because I've been on the road, so I'm literally just getting home.
Yeah, pictures and videos of Six Flags, like in Georgia. Take Six Flags for an example. You can go online right now and see pictures and video, and all you really see is the top of the roller coasters out of the water. Like the top of the track. Like the entire park is underwater.
Wow.
Well, our prayers and thoughts go out to everyone that this storm is affected. And fuck, man.
Yeah.
Let's hope. But Kiki, before we wrap things up, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show.
That's it?
We hope you liked coming on the show.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah, you know, time flies when you're talking shit. That hour goes by real quick. That hour goes by real quick. But hey, I'm gonna hit you up. This way we can do this more often.
For sure.
Because we're gonna have my sisters back on. So let me know what your schedule is. Because we might be, I don't know. Let me know what your schedule is, and we'll work that out. Get you back on. We'll let you know what we're watching. Hopefully you'll be interested in that. You know, what I tell these guys, whatever we're watching, you know, today it was kind of like an echo chamber. We all enjoyed the show. We all like the show. The show got good ratings from all of us. It doesn't have to be that way all the time. So a lot of these shows, if you don't like them, however you feel about them, let loose. Let loose. That's what we want here. That's what we want here. Like another good one coming up, Alice in Borderland. I'm thinking because of the writer's strike that might not be this year. But assuming that Squid Game is coming out in December, I didn't know if I told you guys that Squid Game will be out in December.
The day after Christmas.
So Squid Game is going to be out in December. I have to believe that Alice in Borderland is coming out either around that time or before. Because Alice in Borderland came out before Squid Game did. So I got to believe that, you know, Alice will come back. All of Us Are Dead should be coming back. I think it'll probably come back next year. So those are the kind of shows that we're into. So we'll let you know. Fallout? Oh, hell yeah. Did you like that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, I never played the video game, but the show was phenomenal.
Me either. Same with Last of Us. Didn't even know it was a video game.
Yeah. And I love the fucking show. So, yeah, we watch all those shows. And if you have any recommendations, too, let us know.
Yeah, you can give me some because I need stuff to watch.
Okay. We most certainly will. So, hey, you know, we're going to wrap things up. We appreciate you guys watching. You know, for those of you watching live, thank you. Those of you watching later, thank you. Please like, subscribe, share. Again, comment. You know, we'd love to talk about it if you comment. Feel free to be disrespectful if you want to. See what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I'd like to play those games too. But to sign it off, I am Al, joined by my brothers Marcus and Rick and my princess Kiki. Everybody, peace.
Is she your baby, though?